Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. It is my absolute pleasure to be here with you, although virtually. My name is Dr. Sandra Willis from World Enabled, and joining me today will be Dr. Victor Pineda from a recorded address, also from World Enabled, and Nancy Karan from the Abu Dhabi Department of Community Development. And we're here to share with you our initiative called Disability Inclusive Development and our commitment to achieving our collective vision for an accessible and inclusive Abu Dhabi. So join us initially in hearing an address from Dr. Victor Pineda, the president and founder of the Pineda Foundation at World Enabled.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, it is an honor to be with you today, virtually to address the World Down Syndrome Congress. This Congress represents an invaluable occasion to foster inclusion and accessibility, and particularly for people with Down syndrome. For this reason, I applaud the efforts and the vision of the UAE leadership. The efforts of the UAE show unparalleled and bold commitment to the principles and practice of equity, inclusion, and accessibility. The entire Pineda Foundation World Enabled team is humbled to serve as a trusted partner in implementing Abu Dhabi's POD strategy. In close collaboration with Abu Dhabi's Department of Community Development, we've created a disability mainstreaming and development program, a training of trainers initiative to build capacity across all key government agencies and stakeholders. Over a quarter of the world faces barriers. People in cities everywhere encounter barriers because of age and disability. That means that cities need to respond holistically to ensure and live up to the ideals of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and specifically the inclusion targets of the UN Convention on the Sustainable Development Goals. How do we do this? That is the central question of my talk. Our world faces tremendous threats, and we can make progress only if we catalyze efforts in cities and ensure that cities aren't just smart or resilient, but also places of belonging, of inclusion. We each have a role to play in safeguarding these fundamental rights in our schools, in our communities, in our homes, in our places of employment. We each have a role to protect human dignity and afford that each person has a voice in the affairs that affect them. That is why it is critical for us to come together now and challenge the endemic status and reality of ableism, and valuing some people more and some people less because of a disability. The implicit biases, stereotypes, neglect, and discrimination can change if we choose a better path. We, people with intellectual, physical, sensory disabilities, we matter. We are all united towards the shared vision of building a world where we can each belong, where we can contribute, a place where we can benefit from, can contribute to a collective sense of prosperity, of purpose, of belonging. Cities where we can share our joy, our hopes, and have our dreams come true. And we can build this future together. And we can make it happen now, in the present. The World Down Syndrome Congress is our best hope to unlock our collective potential and to actualize the immense capacity that we each have to love and to share our ideas, our beliefs, and talents, and participate in all aspects of life on an equal basis.
Disability mainstreaming has 4 main areas. We need to sensitize leaders, management, members of our community, everyone, of awareness and engagement and commitment of disability rights, disability justice, access, and inclusion. We need to make sure that all the persons, particularly government agencies and others, that in the workplace through HR departments and otherwise, that we're adopting non-discriminatory practices. If it's a school governance, for example, school management. And we need to make sure that whatever these organizations are engaging in, if you remember my second slide, all the program mainstreaming and policy work generated out of these organizations have a commitment towards disability mainstreaming in values, in purpose, and in function. We are in Abu Dhabi achieving those systematically through the POD strategy that Nancy Karan will deliver. But I want us to consider Ruby. So Ruby is a friend of mine's daughter. She lives here in Dubai. And here's her wonderful picture. So Stephanie is her mom. Ruby has had a journey. And as you can tell from her t-shirt, she is downright perfect. She has Down syndrome. And this picture was taken in Dubai, and it was projected in the world by UNDP, by the United Nations program. I want to tell you a little bit about Ruby. Ruby struggled, her family struggled because they had difficulty in finding the right identification in health care systems, because with Ruby, it was only discovered later on that she had a double disability. She also only got diagnosed in her early teenage years with autism. So we need to improve and mainstream our healthcare systems to be able to identify early, be able to provide comprehensive assessments and early intervention for Down syndrome, but that can only be done if all pediatricians, physicians, and those interfacing and interacting with families are tuned to relay messages of diagnosis in a sensitive way, empower families, and not make it seem as though there has been a tragedy in the family upon diagnosis, which is unfortunately what this particular young girl's family experienced. I believe Stephanie, Ruby's mum, also knocked on so many doors, 40 schools or 20 schools she had to apply to be able to find a placement for Ruby, to be able to find a school for Ruby. Ruby and her family were integral in promoting inclusive education. We have to make sure that Ruby has a place in schools, that the schools are mainstreaming her needs through vocational education and employment opportunities of the future, that they are safeguarding her ability for employment in the future and social protection and financial burdens as well. So then it is everybody's business to make sure that we embrace diversity and non-discrimination in all systems that are governed in our communities, that we promote equal opportunity and participation. Disability mainstreaming model makes sure that that is applied across the board, where people's rights and dignities are met, and so that their social and economic participation is almost guaranteed at the end. And that can only improve social capital. So over to Nancy Karan to talk a little bit about that roadmap with the Abu Dhabi strategy for people of determination. Over to you, Nancy.
Thank you, Dr. Sandra. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings from the Department of Community Development. As mentioned by Dr. Sandra, Abu Dhabi is embarking on a transformational journey towards the inclusion of people of determination. This transformation journey is translated through the Abu Dhabi strategy for people of determination. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi and Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, has launched and officially announced the strategy in September 2020. This announcement comes to emphasize and reiterate and confirm the Abu Dhabi leadership commitment to the inclusion and empowerment agenda of people of determination. So what this strategy is all about? The strategy offers a very comprehensive and integrated roadmap to achieve its vision of an inclusive society, enabling and empowering people of determination. This roadmap addresses key areas such as health and rehabilitation, social care and social protection, education as an inclusive education, inclusive employment, universal access and participation in public life, leisure, entertainment, sports, but it also includes enablers that will really guide and fulfill the vision of the strategy, such as quality of services, sustainable financing model to cover POD services, as well as capacity building, as well as really accountable governance frameworks. So this is what the strategy will be doing, but how the strategy will be achieving this transformational agenda. The strategy clearly defines as well a set of guiding principles. So our collective efforts in the Emirate across the public, private, and third sector are guided by a very clear set of guiding principles. We already mentioned that the model of disability that we want to adopt is a social and right-based model, and this is core to the strategy. So the strategy wants to achieve that paradigm shift from shifting from a medical and charity model in viewing disability to a right and social-based model. And in this model, we needed to mitigate and break the barriers that hinder people of determination to reach their full potential. Another key principle is the participation and the leadership of people of determination, as well as the organizations that represent people of determination, including the Emirate Down Syndrome Association that's represented in the task force that are activating the strategy. Another guiding principle, which is maybe the focus of our talk today, is the twin track approach and disability mainstreaming. This strategy promotes that disability is everyone's responsibility. It is not the sole responsibility of people of determination organization or specialized organization, or maybe only the Department of Community Development. The agenda of inclusion and empowerment of people of determination is everyone's responsibility, is a shared responsibility. So this is really a guiding principle in the strategy. But that guiding principle cannot be put into action if we don't train and build the capacity and change the behavior and the mindset of people towards that concept. That's why in our partnership with World Enabled, we are aiming through this initiative on empowering and building the capacity of all government entity, all the private sector, and all the third sector to embark on disability mainstreaming more and more.
So we'd like to thank everyone for your participation, but we want to end on another note. We want to end exemplifying the notion of participation. We'd love for you to hear from Mia Farah. And here she is.
I use colors to express myself. I mix and match as I go. It's very hard to become a painter, but that makes me so happy. Disability is when a school does not accept me because they do not know how to teach me. Once I found myself working alone, no friends around me. When I asked why the teacher said, "You are slow. This way you are free to do whatever you want." She forget that I belong to a group. I will be a great painter like Claude Monet and Van Gogh. I used to hide myself because I was afraid. As a South African, I believe that my voice is my power. With my friends, we want to participate and to be part of our community. As a South African, I can make my own decisions. During the Corona crisis, I am learning to cook, to iron, and I want to have my own apartment in the future. When people don't have a chance to dream, they cannot live. My message is to be strong and show the world that I am here and no one can change me. I want to have a full life with family and friends, to travel the world and talk about my life and listen to others, to help people with disability and give them hope. I am a human being and a painter, and I work as a self-advocate, but I have Down syndrome.